Hi there and welcome back to my channel. I'm Alexandra from Sesala Design or DIY, and in this video I'm gonna share with you how to make a princess cut dress without sleeves. This type of pattern is great when you want to avoid using darts on your bodice. You can use it to obtain a nicely fitting bodice with smooth lines. That being said, let's start this project. What you'll need for this dress: between 2.5 and 3 meters of fabric, between 1 and 1.5 meters of lining, and 1 invisible zipper. First, we have to make the pattern for the dress. I've started with the basic bodice block. This time I started from the basic bodice front with only a waist dart. If you have a basic bodice block with both darts, waist and bust, you can check this video to see how to transfer the bust darts. I took the front bodice and cut it out the dart. I measured the sleeve circumference and divided by 3. After that, I united the previously obtained point with the bust apex, and I draw a curved line. I separated 2 pattern pieces, and I refined the new lines to make them smoother. The final pattern transformation was to redraw the neckline. You can make any type of neckline. These were the measurements that I used for my dress. The next step was to work on the back of the bodice. The steps were similar to the ones from the front. The only differences were between the measurements of the front and back of the bodice neckline. In the back, I prefer more cropped, and this is how the bodice pattern looked in the end. Next, you can see a little bit of the process of making the pattern. I recommend you work on a separate piece of paper. You can modify as you wish. I chose this beautiful pink brocade fabric with a beautiful intricate pattern as the face of the dress. I placed each pattern piece on my fabric and cut it out. I let 1 cm seam allowance, but you can work with bigger seam allowances. Next, I work on the skirt pattern, starting from the basic skirt block. I took the front skirt block, I measured 18 centimeters on the center front line and side, and cut it. After that, I moved the dart to the side, and I redrew a new hip line. I used the same steps for the back skirt block. Once I finished the top part of the skirt, I measured the gather part. For the gathering part of the skirt, I used the following measurements. You can make your skirt as long and gather you prefer. Lastly, I added the pockets. I started to cut the fabric using my new pattern. I also cut the lining. Now that I have all my pattern pieces, I can start sewing the dress. I started with the bodice. I pinned the front pieces together. Sewing this type of bodice can be a little bit tricky. That's why I carefully arrange the 2 pieces together. I did the same for the lining. And repeat for the back of the bodice. After I got all pieces, I press the seams back and front. The next step was to pin and sew the shoulder and side seams. I press again the newly made seams. I align each seam at the neckline face to face, starting from the shoulder seam. And I sew it. The neckline is basically a rounded seam, and that's why I started to clip it. I also sewed an underlining to make sure my fabric stayed in place. And press it. Because the satin was a little bit stretchy, I had to readjust a little bit the lining before sewing it to the face. I pin it to the face and cut the extra lining. Now that we have the same length for the lining and the face, we can sew it together. We are gonna sew it half by half. I started by pinning the side seams face to face. I started to pin the edges until the shoulder seam, careful not to pin the other side underneath. I just had to pull it carefully and pin it. I sew it. I pull it out carefully. and check to be sure they are the same length. I did the same on the other side. I turn it inside out pin it and sew it. I clip the edges because once again it's a curved seam. I press it and I made another underlining for each armhole by sewing together the lining and the edge of the face. And this is how the bodice looks. Now we are ready to move to the skirt. I started with the top part of the skirt. I pinned face to face and sew it. I did the same for the lining. I press it. I align the skirt to the bodice, seam to seam. First, the top part of the skirt face to face. After I sew it, I attach the lining face to face. And I made an underlining too. Before the gathering part, we have to attach the pockets. I sew and finish the edges of the pockets. I measure where to place them, at 1 cm from the top edge. I sew it to the edge on both sides. I finish the edges with my serger and I pinned and sewed the edges. I press the seams. And I gather the skirt by sewing 2 parallel lines on the top part at the maximum stitch length. I pin it to the top of the skirt face to face. I modify my stitch length to the one I usually work with, and I sew it. I clean the edge with my serger. The last step was to attach the zipper. I use the serger to clean the edge. You can use a bias bonding edge if you want your finished product to look more polished. I sew the invisible zipper to the edge. To be sure that my zipper was closed symmetrically, I used this technique. I mark it with a pin where to place the zipper on the other side. I sew it first with the regular presser foot and second with the invisible zipper foot. I close the skirt. I fold it. Sew the edge of the zipper. And cut the extra part. I nicely press the edges with the zipper. And I finish the dress with a roll under hem. And let's see how the dress turned out. Can I say I love it? It's so easy to wear and has a great fitting. Most definitely I will wear it again. What do you think? I hope that you enjoyed today's video, and if you have any questions or advice, as usual my comment section is open. Don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up and share if you learned something new. Until next time, let's find inspiration.